What does Starbucks sell? Now you know not to say coffee, right? Starbucks sells the third place, right? Everybody heard that? The third place, right? They sell a pretty cool, environment with Wi-Fi connection, right? Usually on a corner somewhere with a lot of good energy, right? And a half-read newspaper half an arm's length away. Did you ever notice if someone takes the half-read newspaper with them, someone from the counter comes in with another half-read newspaper, not a new one, just another half-read, and goes like this, just throws it on the table. Are they selling you coffee? No. But what happens because of that experience? You know what you do? You take a 50-cent cup of coffee, and you're willing to pay $5 for it. And you're happy. Do you want that coffee for free? No. Are you? Right? So, Harley Davidson sells motorcycles? No. Harley Davidson allows me, a 46-year-old guy who has never heard a fly in his life, to have people be afraid of him when I walk into a mall. Women take their little children and go like this as soon as I walk in. That's what Harley Davidson sells. What I'm willing to trade for that is I pay $20,000 for a motorcycle that's not worth any more than $5,000. 64% said they would buy it again. A 5-fold increase from satisfied people. Look at that. Okay? Look at it, ponder it, figure out what it means to you. Okay? If your customers are satisfied, they will give you about 13% loyalty, which you probably get if you did nothing anyway, right? Don't you get 13% loyalty from customers if you do nothing? Right?
If it was not doing mad.
Yeah, if you don't make them mad, you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? Let's just not make them mad, right? But if you give them extreme satisfaction, you get 64%, 5 times more. What's the next obvious question? What's the difference between satisfied and extremely satisfied? The difference between those people and these people was that those people said, I just got more than I expected. That was it. They said, I don't know, I just got more than I thought I would. Do you get that? If I give people more than they expect, they give me 5 times more loyalty. Do you get that? Do you hear like the ground rumbling? Right? Okay, so you give them more than they expect and they give you more loyalty. It's a beautiful thing. So then I tried to figure out, I went to a psychologist friend of mine. I said, Jody, huh? What? This makes no sense to me. She says, what do you mean it makes no sense? It's common sense. I said, no, it's not. Explain it. So she explained it. She says, this is very important. Loyalty is not a logical reaction. Loyalty is an emotional reaction. You are not loyal to people or companies because of what they do. You're loyal to people or companies because of how they make you feel. She knew that. That's common sense. What happened was when you gave that customer slightly more than they expected, you turned a transaction into, love you. You turned a transaction into an emotional event. As soon as it became an emotional event, loyalty became possible. Because loyalty comes from emotion, not transaction. I can't tell you who they are, but they're Swish. For one of their global segments. And they had total purchases of 20 million customers a year. 1% of those is 200,000. The average revenue per customer was $80. The percent customer loyalty was 64%. And when you do the math, 1% increase in extreme customer satisfaction from 25 to 26 of incremental revenue year over year. If you can go from 25 to 35, it's 103,000, 103 million. If you go 20 points, it's double that, etc. Huh? How's that for quantification of an unquantifiable result? Scientists here will tell you that this is true. Management expectation drives policy and procedure. Policy and procedure drives culture and behavior. Culture and behavior affects the customer. Right? Anybody disagree? You can't, right? It's like 1 + 1 = 2. Right? If you go and you find the touch point and understand the customer's expectations through voice of the customer, right? If you understand what the customer expects and how well you're doing in that touch point, and you begin to measure it correctly through some key, performance indicators, magic happens, right? So here we have Echo, right? Going, this is the voice of the customer. This is how the customer feels exactly at this point. Very important, right? And you have a key performance indicator. If you measure the right ones, magic happens. Finding the touch points is critical. So what we did is I created this customer journey, right? That really said, okay, the customer has a journey in the purchase of our product. And in our case, it's they become aware of it, then they have some motivation to act, then they do some research, then they decide, and they buy it, then they get it delivered, they install it, they use it, then they get it serviced, I hope not. And at some point, the last one is disposal, right? They got tired of it and they're buying something else. If you can create a customer journey for your customers, sometimes it differs by product, right? This type of insurance policy has a different customer's journey than that type of insurance policy. If you can do that, and you can go to each one of those steps and identify the touch points that the customer experiences in each one of those steps, a piece of advertising, an operating instruction, a phone call to a call center, and you figure out which one of those touch points have high power transfers. That means a small unit of investment gives you a big unit of output, and you concentrate on those touch points that have high power transfers. Secret, there's not that many of them, right? And you do that, and you look to create extreme customer satisfaction at each one of those touch points, magic will happen. It's not rocket science. How to do it is to go right to the top and say, here's the benefit, here are your alternatives. This is a no-brainer. And, by the way, forget this, especially if there's a competitor in the room. I went from 65% customer satisfaction level, last month was 96%. Okay? Cha-ching. Thank you. Okay, now here comes the big one. I saved $1.5 million doing it. It's free. Model of XCS. It's not rocket science. None of this stuff is rocket science. In fact, nothing I told you today you didn't already know. Think about it. Was there anything I told you today that wasn't common sense? Why aren't we doing it? Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful.